So hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tamara K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community. And before we get started, well, I'll give you guys all a second to come in here. As you guys can see, we have Tamara Johnson-Shealey. She was a former candidate of the U.S. Senate there in Georgia for the 40th District. And we're going to get into a conversation about her platform and, you know, all the things that she wants to see done in her district and specifically for Black people. We also are joined, of course, by Donovan, my partner in crime. I have to thank him for actually reaching out to Miss Shealey and getting her to come on today. Also, we have Walter Coulter, our resident financial expert. And he's going to join in on the conversation as well. And of course, Mark is guiding for everything that you do behind the scenes and making the show go farther. And of course, a big giant shout out to Facebook and YouTube, the other side of the conversation. You guys make this possible. And so if you could do me a favor and share this live so that everyone else can get the information and join in on the conversation, that would be totally awesome. And so I'm going to give it to Donovan. Donovan, what say you before we get started?
All right. Hey, you guys, welcome to the Tamara K Show. Great weekend, a lot of stuff going on, but there's nothing greater than having a guest on the show who has a phenomenal message that we've been talking about here on the West Coast. And the funny thing is, she is on the East Coast and has a similar message, and she has a movement that she wants us to listen to and possibly join, because if we keep doing the same thing we've been doing, that is the definition of insanity. And let me address everybody why I am dressed the way that I am dressed. My sister-in-law got promoted. She is now a Chief Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force. They said uniform of the day. I didn't want to get in my Class A's, so I said, let me just put my bag on and do that. And so I'm simultaneously watching her promotion and still doing my job right here on the Tamara K Show. So it is true. Black people, we can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
All right, Walter, what say you before we get started?
No, I'm excited. I'm actually very interested in this topic today. We talk a lot about it, so it's good that we put money in politics, you know, real money, real politics together, and we get to the bottom of it.
All right, now. All right, and so, Miss Shealey, do you like to be called Mrs. Shealey or Tamara?
Tamara, please.
Okay.
We don't never have to be that formal to be true. No, ever. Tamara.
Okay, Tamara. So I will say, you know, I don't know what happened to Walt. He clicked himself out on accident. So most of us learned about your platform, Walter. I learned about your platform. It was a video that had gone viral in October, I think it was. You were sitting in your car, and it seemed like you were out campaigning. And you said you came across a gentleman about 67 years old, and he said he was not going to vote. Nothing has changed as far as he's concerned, and so why vote? And you were able to convince him that you were the candidate. You were going to actually go in there and not just seek change, but get change. And you were able to change his mind. And so you also spoke about Reverend Raphael Warnock, who actually ended up winning in, I guess, the runoff election a couple of days ago. And so talk to us a little bit about your run for Senate there. And I guess it should also be said, it's not your first time. You actually got like 37% of the vote. It was in 2014 when you ran. So tell us about your run for Senate and why you continue to run.
Well, thank you first, Tamara K and Donovan. And tell me your name again, sir. I don't want to miss you.
It's Walter Coulter.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you for having me on your broadcast this Sunday afternoon. So yeah, Donovan, it's so funny that you know, that video is where you found me. And I don't even think people realize how, you know, disturbed I was and just angry I was in that moment. It's like people, you know, watch this video, but you don't realize how full I was. I had met this gentleman on that day of campaigning and who was so discouraged. You know, was an older gentleman, and he said, you know, he didn't want to vote. He wasn't going to vote. And, you know, he was so discouraged. And it just broke my heart because in this, you know, in this season, you know, the vote is, I always say we have two forms of power as a people, the money in our pocket and the vote. That's all we have. And this gentleman really, you know, I had to have a conversation about the Reverend Raphael Warnock. You know, how dare he stand in that pulpit of Dr. King and not have a Black agenda? How dare he stand in that pulpit of Dr. King and not have a plan for reparations? And there were 21 candidates in this race to the United States Senate right here in the great state of Georgia. And this was a special election. This wasn't a traditional primary and then a general. It wasn't that kind of an election. This is where our former U.S. Senator Johnny Isakson had become ill. And when he had gotten ill, Kelly Loeffler was appointed by our governor. She was only appointed to serve until there was this special election. So there wasn't a separate primary, it was a special election. This was only, you know, it's only been just a few times in history where we've had two U.S. Senate races on the ballot at the same time. You know, this was really kind of unprecedented for Georgia. And getting into this race, there was, like I said, 21 candidates, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarian, Green Party, write-in, just all kinds of, it was truly a real, you know, I really appreciated this race because there was a candidate for everybody in this race. I mean, we all had our uniqueness, and I stood very boldly on the platform about reparations. I don't shy away from that conversation. If you're going to have an inclusive agenda, you have to have an agenda that speaks to all of us. So going back to the conversation, the way you guys found me with this video, you know, I had to talk about the fact that Raphael Warnock, he was the chosen one. The Democratic Party chose him, literally, to shove them down our throats. These, you know, so we didn't have, you know, people didn't really have the choice they think they had. He had a whole lot of money and he had a whole lot of support, but there was a lot of great candidates, including myself, on that ballot. So that, you know, you finding me there is just the irony of that alone. And going back to the question about my previous races and where I came from. So I actually started out in 2014, no name candidate, no money. My spirit, God called me to this. I come from the beauty and barber industry. If you can see right over my shoulder right here, I do advocacy. I've been fighting legislation across the nation for the beauty and barber industry for a number of years. I was a nail tech personally for 18 years, did services for 10, and then started watching my industry come to some sort of demise. There's a lot of political problems inside the beauty and barber industry. The average person does not know that. We as professionals know it. So I started doing advocacy for my industry, which led me to not just pay attention to politics in my industry. It led me to pay attention to politics across the state, in my county, or just on a, you know, city level, just really paying attention to politics in such a way that I realized that, damn, everything is political, from the air we breathe to the water we drink. Everything is political. So watching my industry, I realized that I could not run against the senator in the state Senate, which was Senate District 40, in 2014. So I came out of the gate against him. No name candidate. He was a staunch Republican, y'all. Like, this man had owned this district for a long time, predominantly white district, predominantly affluent. He had owned this district. So beating him, I knew was going to be like an uphill battle. So I came out of the gate in 2014, ran against him, won my primary against him, but got to the general and got 37%, right? Now, this is a Republican that even other Republicans couldn't get more than 20-some-odd% against him. So for me to come out of the gate in 2014, no name candidate, no money, and get 37% against this man, I knew I had to run again. So 2016, I run again against him, did not have a primary, got 43.8% against him. I knew in 2018, I'm about to take him out, right? So my third run, that is when I saw the inner workings of the Democratic Party. I saw the inner workings of race, and I've been Black all my life, and I had run this race 3 times, but then I realized my race, me being a Black person, was going to stop me from winning. So operatives inside of the party, so put in a white woman against me, who ran against me, and the district, I have some pretty nice white supporters that were very honest with me and told me that, they're not going to vote against this white woman and vote for you, Tamara. You're Black. So, and like I said, there was party operatives that were supporting her in my face. I mean, just how do you support one Democrat over another Democrat in their face? And nobody don't say nothing. Even the Black Democrats sat back and let all this happen to me. It was terrible. She ended up winning, and she rode Stacey Abrams' coattail in 2018. And that's how she became the state senator for Senate District 40 here in Georgia, off of my work and then riding Stacey Abrams' coattail and winning the whole district and winning that seat. So it just shows you the power of the Black vote that we're just taking for granted. We're just like a pawn, and we don't ask for nothing and we don't demand anything. So God, I was mad. I'm gonna tell y'all, I was mad. 2018, God said, go back to school. So I got accepted to law school, and I went back to school and got my Juris Master's degree in law. I knew I don't want to be an attorney. I don't want to go into a courtroom and fight, but I do want to write policy, and I want to truly be engaged in politics even further. So when I went back to school and got my Juris Master's in 2018, I graduated just in 2020, and God put it back in my spirit to run again. So I jumped into this race to the United States Senate, and coming out, there was 21 candidates in this race. I placed 6th. 5 of these candidates had millions and a million plus. One of the candidates, she was a former mayor, so she had political connections out of this world. So for me to be that I really kind of call myself like the first place grassroots candidate. I won first place there. So, getting 106,000 votes in this particular race, I feel like we set a foundation, because like I said, I was bold in my Blackness. I talked very forwardly about reparations and our need for repair and redress. I didn't let a conversation go by where I didn't talk about us. So that's who I am.
All right, so let me ask you this, and then I'm going to give the floor to Donovan and Walter. So out of about 10 million people there in Georgia, maybe, I don't know, is there more than 10 million people? That's
about right. Mm-hmm.
3 million of those are Black. And knowing that Ralph Warnock he's not for reparations, why do you think so many people voted for him opposed to you, who were seeking reparations? We all know what reparations is at this point. It's to punitive damages, among other things that were done to Black people, from slavery into present day. So why do you think they went with him, even though he was, I guess, in some cases, vehemently against reparations?
Well, he never said he was against. I haven't heard him say he was against. He just skated around it. It was never a part of his platform. He never talked Black. If you go, we had somebody to comb his site. The word Black is not on there at all. It was never on his website. So he didn't ever talk about us. And he circumvented the whole conversation around reparations. Of course, when you asked about HR 40, which is the study, all of the candidates mostly said they support the study. But hell, that's just a study. That doesn't say you support reparations and you'll fight boldly for us as a people. No, none of that. So why do I know they supported him? Because first of all, the money won. In politics, like Walter was saying about money in politics, it's the money won, right? But why did Black people vote? Because you got to understand, we are Georgia and Louisiana, South Carolina, Alabama. This is truly the Bible Belt. I love God, right? I love God. I was raised in the church. I know God, but when I tell you, I actually did on my YouTube channel, I did a 2-part series where I talked about the indoctrination of the Black church and the Democratic Party. And when and identity politics, you got this Black man, he would go with Reverend in front of his name and the D behind his name. You got the Black people are so caught up in those two things, they couldn't have pulled away. They don't even know how to think beyond that Democratic Party, that D that has that hold on them, and then the Black church. Because in the South, when the pastor says something, that's it. because it's what the pastor said. And so we struggle as a people, and until we can start to think critically and understand that vote is power and is leverage, and they try to guilt you and shame you here in the South. Guilt you, oh, they bled and died for you to have the right to vote, but they ain't bled and died for me to be stupid. Not to say that we are stupid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we got to think. We got to think about how we use that vote. Everybody don't get that vote. Just like you don't go to the store and spend your money with any and everybody. Everybody can't get my money. No, ma'am. No, sir. So I'm not going to give everybody my vote. And until we as a people learn how to think critically beyond the Democratic Party and the church, we're stuck. Demetra.
Absolutely. And just to your point about, the Reverend's word of bond out in the South, James Clyburn is a perfect example. We know it's because of him that Joe Biden, got the extra booth when Joe Biden went to South Carolina. So that is absolutely true. And then one other thing, you're an organizer for the Withhold the Vote, I guess, initiative. What's that about?
Oh, Demetra, did I piss some folks off with that one, honey? The people didn't like withhold the vote. You telling people not to vote. Withhold is a legal term. It's a tactic. Withhold means to hold back. It's a negotiate. It's time to negotiate. It's a tool. Withhold it until you give me what I want. I'll give you what you want. This is an exchange, right? You don't give me, you're gonna give me something, I'm gonna give you something, and we're gonna be even. So withhold the vote is a tactic, and people want, and I really, I feel like some people don't want it to mean what it means. They don't want it to mean that, so they try to come at me and say, you telling people not to vote. No, I'm telling people to think and think critically about who you give that vote to. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we completely understand that. We also talked heavily about withhold the vote until you get something for it. And oh my God, we were everything but a child of God oftentimes. And we all saw what happened to Ice Cube. So, whew.
Yes, like how do y'all gonna take down Ice Cube, right? Like, I mean, come on now. Ice Cube is saying to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, I have this plan, right? Who wants it? Let's negotiate. Let's get to the table. Come on, this is what politics is, a sport. Politics is a game. And if we don't ever learn how to play it, we're going to continue to be played. And that's what we're doing. We're being played by both sides. Hell, if they're going to play us, at least get something out of it. Come on. When Black people now, we're on the bottom. Come on now. The data says that by 2053, we will have zero net wealth. Zero. A race to the bottom, Demetra.
Donovan?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just so amazing, a lot of stuff that you were saying, because we were saying the same stuff for the last couple of years, and we just were getting roasted. But, it didn't dissuade us too badly. But, I mean, we were so unapologetic about it that we had shirts made that said, hold the vote until. And everybody's like, what does that mean? It was a good conversation starter in case somebody asked us to do it. But what do you think is the motive of the Democratic Party using specifically Black women to, number one, disenfranchise Black men? Because it seemed like when the race was very, very close, that's when they started trying to reach out to Black men. But it just seems to me that there's a motive that when stuff doesn't go right, blame the Black man. The Black man didn't do this. The Black man didn't do that. And they're using our own women against us in regards to how we vote and, where we should vote.
I think we just got to get off this Democratic plantation. It's just time we get off the Democratic plantation and really, really play politics. It's time. I mean, they use us against each other. It's time. It's time that we're more educated and how these systems are working to our demise. It's just time, Donovan.
And let me follow it up with this. Now, the white candidate that went to the assembly there or to the House where you guys are at, is she doing anything specifically for the people that she represents, or did she just go in there and do what they always do? I'll see you in 2 years.
Yeah, she don't have to do nothing. She could just kind of, this district is predominantly white and predominantly affluent, so she's representing her quote unquote constituency, and black people, until we start to, like I say, become educated on who our politicians are, where they stand on the policy, we're going to continue to do the same thing. So here's where withhold the vote comes into play. I'm not just telling people to withhold the vote. We have follow up to this. So I track and monitor legislation nationwide that affects the beauty and barber industry. So withhold the vote, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to track and monitor policy across the nation. Federally, we're going to start federally right now until we can build a groundswell and get some support where we can drill down on the state level. But we're going to watch these federal legislators. And we're going to see what's going on in Congress. And I think it's until we start to put our hands on the specifics of what they're doing, we're going to continue to just kind of, let them tell us what they did or didn't do. When we're going to have receipts. No, you didn't support this, or you did support that. So we got to have receipts now so that we can go to our people and say, this is why you don't vote for this person. This is why you should vote, for this person. We just got to now do work that we've never done before as a people.
So basically what you're saying, you're a business owner and things like that. You're saying that you are going to give a performance report of your employee. So as a business owner, when they come to you and say, well, I want a raise, you just don't give them a raise because they ask. You look at their performance and you say, okay, you did this, and you did this. We're saying the same exact thing right over here. It's just amazing. My last question is this. As you know, this week, Donald Trump tried to circumvent the Constitution and tried to overthrow the government. The CBC is silent. A lot of the black leaders are silent. The pastors are silent. Nobody's saying anything, at least from our representation of it. Could you just tell us your opinion of it? And, what do you think should be the outcome of all of this?
Well, I think it's not our fight. Honestly, it's not our fight. To watch white supremacists and police go at it, let them fight this. This is their war. This is their battle. This is not ours. So yeah, I think we should continue to stay on our side of this fence and continue to work on our issues and let white America figure that out.
I know that's right, Walter.
Well, I'm gonna try not to step on too many toes. I'm a finance guy. And so I remember December 1st, which happens to be my birthday, 1955, when we got people's attention is when we had the whole bus protest. When one of the best things Martin Luther King did is he hit people in the pocketbook. Nobody moves without the money. Matter of fact, you said it yourself, is, there's money in politics. So one thing I always ask people is, why don't we just deal with the money then? It's funny when we want to joke about black people getting the reparations, we go back to the Dave Chappelle show, which I know is nuts, but like so many people resonate with that. Like me, I'm a financial planner and have been for a long time. And when you talk to black people about money, they zone out. Matter of fact, when I do political shows, when we start talking about money, the attendance goes way down. So like, wouldn't it make sense if we took 20-25% of our money every month and we put it somewhere and we bought real estate, houses, got out the car lots and bought cars for ourselves, and we flipped them and did things, like buy low, sell high, be it grapes, bananas, stocks, bonds. I don't care, services. That makes more sense to me versus begging master like Oliver Twist to, oh, please give us reparations. And then, yeah, do we need reparations? Yes. And I like 40 acres is a lot of property. And the mule is, today that would be the equivalent of a truck to move you cut trees down, move things around and work on your property. And as somebody who's bought property and acreage, I know what it's like being a landowner. But you know what? You don't have to, like, the whole reparations thing, I think, is dead. And like, I watched the Joe Biden thing, and I'm not a fan of Joe Biden, but I watched this whole thing take place, and I watched him get his behind kicked until Carolina came in, and like you said, the African American women saved him. He was done. We were counting him out. I was scratching his name off the leaders board, and then we came and saved him, right? And we getting the same old thing we always get. And one thing that I don't hear our Black politicians saying is, Black people, stop begging. Like, you make money, but what do you do with it? You know, Black people, we have trillions or whatever, all these dollars in our community, but we don't do anything with them. I guarantee you, if the Black dollar stopped being spent, yeah, we would hurt the economy. But sometimes, like when you work out your muscles, you rip them apart and then they rebuild. We have to stop the spending. Not every Black person can, that's a dream. If some of us just stopped the money and kept it in our own bank account, can you imagine having just a month's worth of savings in your bank account if the average African American had 30 days in the bank? So when something goes up, you can just say, you know what, I got time to think about it. So-and-so's losing a house. Hey man, let's go buy that house over there. They're losing it. Why don't we go buy it together? You know, like that makes more sense to me, something we have control over. Like, and you mentioned, and I'm just going to put myself at risk here. You know, you mentioned God in the Bible Belt. You know, there's plenty of churches by my house, and those are some of the brokest people in the world. The minister got money. He got money. But, you know, when you see those people, they're not doing well. And it's funny, I had a client tell me, oh, baby, I want to pray on it. And I said, let me get this straight. You've been praying for financial independence every time you go to church. Every time you go to church, you sitting here in front of me. I've given you the advice. I've told you what to do to be free, and you want to pray on it. So really what you want to do is you want to pray on the answer God gave you. So you want to keep it. You're not interested in the result. You just want to keep using God as an excuse. Christians, Black Christians, are some of the poorest people in the world, period. And I believe that God has given us the ability, like the fact that we are Black and still alive with all the things that have happened to us, and we still have the power we have. I think that's God given. I don't think God needs to do anything else. I think we need to do our part, right? Period. And we keep waiting on, you know, like when I saw the Reverend running in the runoff, I went, oh Lord, they go to Black vote, right? Because they spooks. And I don't like that. Like, I don't like, you know, I think that, like, you know, we are created in God's image. Why can't we act like him? Like if Jesus was here, what would he do financially? You know, money is mentioned more times in the Bible than any other subject that I can remember, but yet it's the one subject that we don't deal with. So, and as far as buying politics, I agree. I save every dime I can. I'm investing. I'm trying to get moved so I can buy politics, period. I want to go down and get my way. I go and I cut a check to my councilman. That's just how it works. And why are we fighting the system? I think we as Black people, you know, it's funny when the whole, the stimulus came out, and, you know, one of my buddies was like, in the hood, everybody got a TV. And so I was like, you know what, you guys got your $1,200, you know, you could do what, you know, you could buy 600 shares of NEO at $2, which is now trading at $50. Tesla's competitor, you know, JP Morgan, Nordstrom's, you bought stock options at JP Morgan. And, you know, November 3rd and November 7th, you know, $1,000 was 10,000, you know, but people don't want to hear that. They want the sexy stuff.
So what's
when I tell people all the time, what'd you say?
What's your question for Miss Shealey?
Oh, my question is, I'm sorry, I'm going off like Flavor Flav. I watched your video, Miss Shealey, and I've done some research on you. And here's the one thing that I would do differently or add to what you're doing, because your message is clear. And I like what you're saying about hold the vote. That's good. I haven't heard a politician do that yet. Like someone, a Black Democrat, do what you're doing. So that's good. You know, that got my attention. What if we could add financial to the ticket? Like, we need to do something different. You guys, let's stop asking them for reparations. Why don't we create our own? You know, we have the stimulus package and the PPP, and a lot of us got our checks, and we're doing something with it. So can you add that to the ticket? Or is there something in politics where we can't talk about money when it comes to Black people? Will they not listen? I mean, why don't we ever hear about finance? Like, be responsible, Black people. It's your fault. It's up to you to take control of your financial future. Stop asking the government to take care of you.
Ooh, it's a lot to unpack, sir. Oh my gosh. I don't know if we have enough time today or tomorrow, but I'm going to try. First of all, reparations is a debt owed. So when you say we need to stop begging, we're owed this money. This is accrued systemic generational damage and trauma to our people, from slavery to black codes, Jim Crow, convict leasing, no New Deal, no GI Bill, redlining, war on drugs, mass incarceration. Now, COVID-19 done sped all that up. This is money that we are owed. So we ain't begging, we are demanding reparations. Cut the check. So let's clear that part up right there. You talked about a 40 acres and a mule. Yeah, we give us our land. We have about 14 million acres at one point. We're down to about 2. We're losing land. Give us our land so we can be self-determining. You can keep your mule, but give me a tractor. Because guess what? I'm going to have to feed myself, because we can't depend on this country to feed us the garbage that they're feeding us. So give me my land and give me my tractor instead of the mule. Okay? And when you talk about financial, let's go back to the church, and then I'll come back to your last part about financial literacy. The Black church. You know, first of all, let me ask you, yes or no, are you a believer?
I believe in, here's the funny part. I believe in God, and I was a big, what I consider Jesus freak back in the days. And honestly, as I become more educated and more stronger and financially and more spiritually connected, my faith has stammered when it comes to believing that God sent down Jesus and we're just supposed to just wait for him to come back. Of course,
so let me meet you where you are. The reason I ask you that, because I want to meet you where you are, and I didn't want to assume. Mm-hmm. So here in the South, the Black church is still very relevant. Still right. And revered. And like I say, I love God. I still, I have pastors that I listen to, and I can receive from who's speaking to me in my spirit. So I just wanted to meet you where you are. But I agree with you that faith without works is dead. Like, we know that. And I get you about the lady that, I pray on it too, so just, I just wanted you to understand that, and then you said about being poor. Poor is a perspective. Some people don't need what other people need. So, poor to me, it is what you believe rich is and what you believe poor. It is totally your own perspective. And when it comes to financial literacy, I think that is ongoing. That's something that we got to teach in schools. We got to teach our children. We got to teach at the church. We got to teach at the boys club, the girls, anywhere we can. We should always be trying to help our people with financial literacy. So I meet you there. Only pushback I have for you is that this reparations is a debt owed. America owes us. When you can cut the check and you can give, trillions to these in this COVID relief, you can cut the check and you can fix Black America. Because until America is clear about where their problem is, because right now it's us. We're the root of this. If you don't ever get this right with us, America, this country will never be great. So
I agree with, we need reparations, and I believe that we're owed that. But watching the political cycle, the last one, like, I thought if we were going to get it, it would have been now. And Joe Biden and what I've seen, the Democrats have pushed that. I haven't even heard reparations come up until I got ready to do this show. Reparations has not come up one time. So yeah, we deserve that. That's our money. And believe me, me and my sister were raised Muslim. So we know, I have all the books on what Africans have done for this country, from, inventions to everything to what we continue. I believe that that's our money. But the reason when I talk about begging is I don't believe they're going to give it to us. And I think if we were going to get it, this was our best shot. In the current environment, we have these people supposedly for Black people. We have now the House, the Senate, with the Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker, and it's not come up. And so I don't think it's coming, and I don't think they want to give it to us. 1, 2, and if we did get it, what would we do with it? That's where I struggle, because I believe we should be responsible for what happens to us.
Well, you know what? When people have never stay there with that thought, this is where we got to give Black people a break. It's a lot of Black people who ain't never had a massage, who ain't never had a vacation, who ain't could ever never afford to take their kids nowhere, don't have, they wish they had nicer things, they give us a break. And don't tell us how to spend our money. Don't tell us how to spend our money. Give us a break. And some people may go out and blow a little bit of it, but give them a break. Hell, that's mental therapy for some people.
Oh yeah, me and we need an hour by ourselves. I can already see.
I told you because we don't have enough time. We got about 20 more minutes left here. So I knew we didn't have enough time.
No, I believe that you should do all those things. My sister tell you, I get massages. I got a masseuse on the payroll. I've been to 50 million countries, but I also save 20, 30% of my money I put to the side to take care of my future and to invest. So I believe we can do that. And I believe, I always say African Americans, we created everything. If you want to make it hot, have us do it first. We are the motherland. We are the creation, of this earth. But we got to start somewhere, right? So we don't have a problem getting massages and buying cars and traveling. What we have a problem with is investing our money in buying the blocks or black-owned businesses. We have
stay there, Walter. You got to understand, my grandmother, God rest my grandmother, so she used to stick money in all kind of places in the house. And my uncle would be after she passed, he find us money. You understand the historical implications of why my grandmama probably was hiding that stuff. She knew, the failures of the banks, and she knew the failures of the quote unquote investments that we've done. She saw that. So she wasn't sticking her money. She put it in her bosom. She put it in a coat pocket in a closet under the mattress. You got to understand, why we think the way we think. And there's the work right there. Yeah, of course, we're going to have to learn how to do this, but don't beat us down in the process, Walter. Don't point the finger and say, you need to do this and you need to do that. Let's walk our people through this. This is 400 years of freaking trauma. Let's walk our people through this. And let's be patient with us. We done been beat down and beat up all these years. Let's be patient with us. We don't get it yet. And when I was out there on the campaign trail, it was asking me about jobs. We need jobs. And you know what I had to say to them? Your jobs are gone. The jobs are gone. They're going overseas or they've been automated. They're gone. And if you got to work a job, you got to work 2 and 3 of them just to make ends meet. So what are you going to have to do now? You're going to have to do what we did when we came out of slavery and they set us free. We had to create. We got to build our communities. We got to build our businesses. And we got to start circulating that dollar in our community. We got to do, it's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. But if we don't get this reparations to do it, Walter, we can't do it. Because we're going to have to buy the block. We're going to have to spend, we're going to have the money and the money to do it. So don't beat us up in the process.
No, I agree with that. And this is, it's a touchy subject, but I just do not like asking for something that is light years away from coming. I mean, reparations, we are owed, but it's not even on the ballot. It's not even on maybe I'm not in politics, so I don't know, and if it is, where is it? I don't hear anyone talking about it.
Stay with me, Walter. Reparations. John Conyers has been introducing, before he passed away, had introduced reparations since the late 80s, right? There have been people that have been talking about reparations in the early 80s and the 70s. Reparations is not this is not a new conversation. This is not a new movement. It's just right now in our generation, we're giving it some momentum. Think about this, Walter. It took 100 years from 1865 to 1965 for us to just get the right to vote. There was 100 years of work that had to be done in the interim, right? We're doing the same work right here, right now. Walter, I pray you live to see it happen. But if it doesn't, we got to do the work for when it does. So that's what we're doing right now. Whether it happens or not, we can't kill it. And the way you talk, Walter, you killing it. You killing it. You killing the conversation. You suppressing our people. We've been suppressed long enough. Come on, bro. I need you to say we're going to get it. I might not live to see it. I'm gonna do my part while I'm here. I'm gonna educate and motivate and help my people. But don't kill it, Walter.
Right. So what can we do in addition to while we wait for reparations? Should we just wait for it?
We work for reparations. Change the narrative. We're not waiting. You're gonna give us and you're gonna pay us what you owe us. You gonna do it, America, because you're gonna implode. These white boys about to blow you up. You gonna implode. You gonna need us to go to the ballot. You gonna need us to help you. You gonna need this black vote. Give us that check. Cut it. You gonna need it.
And that's what we should have did when we like you guys. And what in my notes I have Ice Cube's name written down. What was he asking for? Was reparations involved in that at all? I mean, because it seems like when we ask for stuff, we just get blown out. Like our own people killed Ice Cube's vision.
Well, this is the thing. So the Contract of Black America absolutely asked for reparations amongst a whole host of things. A lot of people think that Ice Cube, just made something up one day, like he was writing a rap song. They thought he just came up with this Contract of Black America, but it actually was a combination of a lot of people. Dr. Claude Anderson was one of them. Of course, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Message to the Black Man, they have a blueprint, and of course, Marcus Garvey. So he took all of those ideas from a lot of, economic experts and made the Contract of Black America. But absolutely, reparations was one of those things. But Tamara, why do you think people, I say like Walter, think that we'll never get it? So really, let's just stop asking for it. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to get to know Walter. He and I gonna have to have another powwow. I don't know what we're gonna need to have a come to Jesus meeting. You're gonna have to call me, Walter. I don't know. We're gonna have to talk because I don't know why you think the way you think, but I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by our people right now because so many of us are woke. Demetria, me and Donovan, we woke, and we see this country for what it is. And I think we gotta ride this momentum. We've had various movements. I came through the ADOS movement. I have this whole nother set of energy, and I realize that if we fight together, we can demand something from this country. And I'm not asking. Take that word out, that begging and asking it. Take those two words out of your vocabulary, Walter. We're demanding reparations. We ain't asking, we ain't begging, we're demanding reparations. Because they got to know we serious. And withhold the vote is a weapon. It's a weapon. You're not, like I said, you're not going to guilt me and to shame me and to vote. Either you're going to give me something or I'm withholding this vote from you. I will skip you on the ballot. I will write in something. I didn't vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump. How about that? I wrote in something. I skipped it. We got to learn how, you did too. We got to learn how to use this vote as the weapon that it is. Yes, our ancestors died and bled. But guess what? We know how to use this thing as the power that it is.
So,
I hope me and Walter can talk sometime and we can figure this thing out because we're going to bring you along, bro. We got to have warriors right here and right now. There's momentum. We own the presidency. We own the Senate right now. And we got the House. The Democratic Party can't tell me they can't do nothing for us. You cannot tell me that. Democrats can't tell me no for nothing. Not a damn thing. And that's the kind of power and momentum we got to bring to them and show them we are not to be played with. You will not take this vote for granted any longer.
Man, that's the truth right there. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody makes excuses for what they don't do for us, but we were the ones that got in the White House. We were the ones that just got at least 50% of us right there in Georgia that got them the Senate. Stacey Abrams, I got to give her, I'm not a fan of hers, but I've got to give her the credit that her group, whatever she does to get those votes, galvanized a lot of people to vote there. So, it just seems, again, and I'm sure you've seen the memes where the black person is thrown out of the moving vehicle every 2 years. That's like a funny meme, but it's true. But behind me is some of the things you ran on, and Joe Biden recently said that he wants to forgive some student debt. What's your thought on that? Because you have student debt as one of your things to do, but he wants to forgive some. And I think one of the numbers that was thrown out there was like $10,000. So what is your thought on him doing the student debt thing? And do you think that really would help Black people as a whole? Because I mean, student debt, what's your thought?
Look, Joe Biden, that does not close the racial wealth gap. That transfers, that helps white America. That does not close. Most of us don't have college degrees. I'm riddled with student loan debt. I know a lot of people that are, but the majority of us as a people, we don't have a whole lot of student loan debt. So you're going to that's just more wealth transfer for white America. That does not help us as a people. Reparations, Biden.
Don't get it twisted. I want my money.
No, you're gonna donate your check. We're gonna send your check to Demetra and Donovan. They're getting your money. You can't have it.
I'm not donating my check. I'm investing my check. I've been working since I was 5 years old. My father was Muslim. And he was like, you want it? Go get it. Period.
But as a quick follow-up, you have this movement that you have started. Tell us a little bit about that movement, because we got 15 minutes with you left. You have things you got to do. So I want to hear about the movement, and I'm sure a lot of people out there also want to hear about it. So let's hear about the movement.
So yeah, it's withholdthevote.org. I encourage you to go to the website and take a look at it. But it literally is a way to hold our candidates and elected officials accountable to those of us who are Black. If you don't have a Black agenda, you don't have a plan for reparations, you cannot get that vote. So on that website, Raphael was our target for this time to kind of get this thing going. And we showed you, withhold the vote. And I was very clear about withholding the vote for Raphael Warnock. I was very clear about it. And on the website, there's another page where we're going to start. The Congress just started pre-files on the 5th, pre-files for legislation. So we're going to start tracking every bill. There's well over 10,000 bills that come through the United States Congress. And that's a lot of work. That's a lot of data. And we need people to be engaged with us so we can keep an eye on Texas. We can keep an eye on California. We can keep an eye right here on Georgia. But it's going to take us working together, doing something, like I said, very different. We've never followed policy. We don't know what these people are doing. We don't have receipts. We're going to have some receipts, because when these races come back around, this particular race, y'all, has to be, Raphael only has 2 years. Now, the United States Senate is a 6-year term. So with this special election, this win, he has to run again in 2022 to fulfill that 6-year term from Johnny Isakson. So Raphael has 2 years, and then it becomes a 6-year term. Now, he can get it right in these next 2 years, or he can get it wrong. Trust me. Some of us ain't going no damn where.
So do you think the Democrats will be able to hold Georgia, or you think the Republicans will be back? Because we know Georgia's been a Republican for a very long time. It's the first time that it's flipped in a very long time. And so do you think this is a trend, or is it going to stay blue? I believe that Georgia has the numbers, but here's what happened, I believe, in this race. Kelly Loeffler was so disliked. She was so disliked. She and Perdue, with all the trade, the quote unquote trading that, the stuff that happened with them with the coronavirus and the stock, all the things that they did. I think there was a lot of people that were so turned off, Republicans that were so turned off that they just did this Democratic vote this time. But I think Georgia has some strong blue numbers. I take nothing from it. But do I think we're blue? I'm still not totally convinced. So we'll have to see in 2022 if we can have a blue wave with Stacey. The rumor is that she is going to run. So that's rumored. So we shall see if she runs for governor. People are magnetically attracted to her because of the work that she's done. But there's been a lot of other great organizations who have done great work around voter registration as well. So we shall see. I think 2022 will kind of prove whether we truly are blue or not. No, absolutely. And so Jordan, I know you have to get out of here in about 5 minutes or so. So withholdthevote.org. And so you're saying that you will be back in 2 years? Who, Raphael? Say that again. Oh, will you be back?
You know what? I'm gonna let God kind of tell me what to do. I'm definitely not going nowhere. I'm not opposed to it, you know. So we shall see. I know that I'm gonna stick and stay. I'm not going nowhere at all. So, and I'm gonna continue to be loud. I'll come back on your broadcast if you guys will have me back. I'll come back and share some information about certain bills and kind of give you an update if you're interested in that, and see where some of the congressional members are. Just let's pay attention to this Congressional Black Caucus. Y'all gonna do the right thing by us. You know, let's really, you know, really dive into policy and be specific. Like I say, we're gonna have to have some receipts going into 2022 because we're gonna have to lead our people in the right direction. They cannot continue to just give this vote away. We cannot.
If the Dems do not deliver and the Biden administration does not deliver, do you think that the Black vote will drop significantly within the next 4 years?
Yeah, it better. I hope we so woke that we're like, okay, we're woke enough to know it's all about policy. It's not about people, and it's not about personalities. You know, that's the place I want to say that we get to as a people. That it's all about policy, it's not about people, and it's not about personalities. So if we can get our people there, oh yeah, we can control. It doesn't, and we gotta realize, like I say, politics is a sport. Democrat, Republican, they just bouncing us back, you know, just off each other. If we can get what we need from the Republicans, damn it, let's take it. He says, can I reply to him? He says she sounds like she's from New Orleans. I'm Geechee. I'm from Savannah. So you know, it's that Geechee Gullah culture. I'm Geechee, so I have to be mindful to speak because I can start talking fast and skipping consonants and vowels, and y'all be like, "What'd she say?"
Walter, what's your last question for Tamara?
Is it possible to put financial, not just education, but financial growth? Like, you know, I hear people say scared money don't make money. One thing I wish a politician would do is add financial well-being to the conversation. Period. You get money, do something with it. Yeah, all these other things are the issue, but I know the fact that I'm building my wealth, power is coming to me. I want my reparations, but like in the meantime, I don't hear the politicians talking about what we can do with our dollar. Period. What can we do with the dollars we do have? And that is missing from the political spectrum. Is there a way to put that on the ballot? Is somebody willing to take the shot and talk about it?
I don't know if we want to legislate everything. This is where I kind of like, you know, I think this becomes an opportunity for people like you who have a background in financial literacy, and this is what you do. This is your work. This is the education that needs to happen. Kids are young in grade school and high school. There's so much that we need to do. We don't want to legislate everything. Like, I don't want to push anybody to do anything they don't want to do. But I think encouraging people, I think this is work you can do, Mr. Walter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't want to legislate anything at all, period. It's just a recommendation.
You do it. This is the work of those of you that have these expertise. This is your work. Like, we all have work to do to elevate our people. I've been reading a book, and I actually have with the beauty and barber industry, we're reading a book called Beauty Shop Politics. It's a great book by author Tiffany M. Gill, no S. She wrote a book about how my industry, the beauty and barber industry, was so integral. And you think about Madam C.J. Walker and all the money that Madam C.J. Walker made with products, but really these people were doing race work. Like, we don't know that behind these people making money and elevating us as a people, they were really doing race work. So you could be doing the same thing, Walter, elevating our people, teaching us about financial literacy. And this is race work. This is how you help us. We all have race work to do. Those of us, that's your lane, that's your thing. Figure out how to make that work and make it work for all of us.
All right. Well, I so much appreciate you coming on for us with this hour and joining us and telling us about yourself and your platform. And for those of you guys out there, Facebook and YouTube, please keep in touch with Ms. Shealey because she is doing great things. Look for organization with holdthevote.org. That's a platform that we talked about a whole lot within the last couple of years. Hold the vote until we get something for it. So please, oh, that's Walter's mic. Please do come back and join us. It would be our pleasure to have you. Walter and Tamara, y'all please hook up so y'all can do something. I don't know what, but it's just been a joy and a pleasure to have you here. And so I will let you know because you know you have something pressing.
Yes, yes. And before you go, trust me, I will stay. We're going to be staying in touch because your message is the same thing that we're spouting here. I'm in California. Demetra's down in Houston. So we've got all the major coasts covered. So I think that as long as we have as a military person, we have a combined offensive, I think we're going to turn a lot of people on and wake a lot of people up. So again, thank you for coming on the show. You have you're doing a lot out there. And I'm going to make sure that you are continually highlighted and our audience and other audiences know what you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me tonight. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, everybody. So we are still here in the same for about another hour. Yes, Walter, please make sure you keep in touch with Tamara because I think you guys can do great things. Woo, one thing I tell you is, my God, we need more women, more people like her that are unapologetically Black. That's not afraid to go get what's ours. That's not gonna bite her tongue. And as they say, scratch when she don't itch when it comes to, the powers that be, white supremacy and all of that. And, and I'm going to start reading you guys' comments from this point on because we'll have some time. But it's a shame that more people don't get behind candidates like Tamara. It's a shame that we keep voting to get more of nothing. As I always say, we vote for oppression repeatedly, and then we wonder why we don't have anything. It's just it's crazy to me. So, Walter, what were your initial thoughts of the interview?
I liked it. I just what I see found out. What I see on her on the internet is not really. It doesn't really expand far enough. On her message. And I know they have sound bites. They only have so much time to get a message out before people wander off. But, somebody needs to add financial literacy to the ticket, period. And it's not, the reparations are great, but, I tend to be more of a realist. Like reparations, let's be honest. And she made a good point. Like you may not happen in your lifetime. That reparations come. Half of me goes, okay, then why do I care? That's just the selfish part of me. And then the other half goes, yeah, it'd be nice to see my kids get it. But what can we do while I'm alive? Because if you be honest, at the end of the day, I care about my life.
Yeah, right? But you got to think about Titus.
I do think about Titus. I put away money once a month, 8 to 10 accounts. Shit, Titus, I gotta add him too. Jesus, and if I die, they're all millionaires. I'm not worried about my kids and grandkids. I've done my work. If I die today, my kids would have millions of dollars in life insurance, and I got 32 pages to tell them how to save, stroke, and hug. You know what I'm saying? So I don't worry about my kids. They're straight, and every time we talk money. So what I'm concerned about more is our present day. Like, what do we do for ourselves? Geez, I know for whatever reason, and I really think Ice Cube was close, but I didn't think Black people would dog a gangster rapper like that. Like we did Ice Cube like he was Jimmy Crack Corn. I'm like, damn. So,
but that's the ignorance within our community. We are so conditioned to do what Big Mama and them did in the '60s. That it's just what the analogy of like playing football or in the military. We don't run around with cannons and and do war with that and all the horses and stuff. We got mechanized and we got all this technology now. So you got to change it up. And the reparation thing, whenever I hear somebody talk about we're not getting reparations, as you know, Walter, here in California, it passed. Right now, the debate is how do you distribute it? And we're not talking about non-ADOS people, because I'm getting tired of arguing with baby boomers about, it's only $8,000 per person. Well, fool, you're adding in everybody that has a black skin. All those people ain't gonna get that money. We have the receipt. So, at one time we were told we'll never see a black president. It happened. At one time we were told there'll never be reparations. It has happened. At one time it was said that there will never be an insurrection in the United States. It happened just last week. So, we have to be optimistic, but again, just like she was saying, we got to be forceful and demand it unilaterally, like the Hispanics are doing, like the Asians are doing, and like these white boys are doing.
Yeah, here's my fear with people of color is that we're going to get complacent. We won. And when I say we won, that's not what let me back up. A lot of people of color feel like we won. We got Democrats in the White House. I think that's going to
black people.
Yeah, I think that's going to hurt black people having a Democrat, the traditional Democrat in the White House, because now we're all, we're going to get our way. No, we're not. We're not gonna get it, and it's funny. I was listening to, I guess it's on Instagram. One of the guys on there was saying, talking about the insurrection. That's what we're calling it, right? They stormed the Capitol, and I was, and I was listening to him, the video, and he was saying like the Black Lives Matter when we came in. And I know it wasn't us, right? Because Black Lives Matters is not black people like me. It was started by people that really aren't really on our platform, but whatever. But he was saying that when we came together, we burned down places. They show us robbing and stealing and breaking into stores and stealing shoes. And I know that wasn't all of us, right? But he was saying that when Trump's people, when they rioted, they went after the Capitol. They went after true freedom. They didn't go to Walmart and Target and Gucci. They went to the White House and to the Capitol to take what they. So if you listen to that lady that got maced, she's like, "Oh, they maced me. It's the revolution." The funny part is she was dead serious. A lot of those people feel like, "Fuck this. It's a revolution. We need to take our country back." And after listening to some of these people, I sympathize with them. I mean, like, I'm not a fan of what Trump did, but like, how does it start? I'm not saying you need to do that. And I'm not a Nancy Pelosi fan. So like, the fact of her ducking and hiding, I wasn't sad about, but like, if it would have been done in a different way, could they have been on the right track? I mean, how else do you take power over?
But I don't understand this. Why? I mean, okay, I get it. White supremacy. They saw their leader. His last days are up. In control, power, if you want to see that. And to me, I said it was white supremacy's last stand when Donald Trump told them, and he pointed, to go down to the Capitol and basically, and paraphrasing, show them, we're not going anywhere type of thing. But as I was watching all of that unfold, I said, not that I'm trying to, incite anything. And to me, it seems like people should have been doing that over them little $600 checks. And the other things that have been done to the American people by Congress, who unfortunately we elect to go in there and they do nothing every term. I mean, we got, Congress people that have been there 20, 30, 40 years and have not improved the lives of the people they're supposed to represent. And I just feel like, because look at how a lot of those Republican senators who were, we're not going to certify the vote. We're going to, see if we can keep Donald Trump in there. They brought their asses back to the podium and said, listen, on second thought, we're going to go ahead and certify the election, because I think, and you guys saw all the photos that came out, but especially the one, and I can't think of the lady's name, but she's a senator, and she's sprawled out on the pew holding her heart like, and she heard, you know, the people trying to break in there. So to me, I think that was really an eye-opening moment for Congress. Like, we're not as safe as we thought we were, for one thing. And you can't tell me those people at some point in time didn't think that moment was going to come. I'm just a little upset that it didn't come, you know, when they said, well, it took them for months to decide to give the American people help via $600. So I'm a little bit perplexed and upset that it didn't come at that moment. That's when people of all backgrounds should have gotten mad and perhaps storming. I don't know about breaking in there, stealing Nancy Pelosi's mail, putting their feet up on her desk, but it should have, you know, got together and say, you know what, enough is enough. This pandemic, no matter how you see it, is not our fault. There are industries that are not going to come back. There are people who are looking at eviction as soon as these moratoriums are up. And even now, even though there's these moratoriums, people can't feed their families, a whole host of things going on. And so why didn't those people get together and storm the Capitol, if you will? Why do you guys think that is?
Well, let me answer that real quick in a real short amount of time. We all know that politics is about power. That's all it is. That's why that's why you could be a Lindsey Graham and in the primary go against Bush and say that this guy's a con artist. You call Trump, same person. Trump, all these names, and then he wins. Then you switch it up. Now you're Trump's best friend. Now he just tried to overthrow the government. Then you switch it up again. Oh, I'm done. I'm finished. I'm gonna walk away, right? It's about power. Even Lindsey Graham said it himself. He said to stay in office, you have to play the politics game, you know, and all it is theater. It's theater for you and me that we see this guy or we see this young lady. I'm reclaiming my time. Oh, Kamala, black girl. You know, we're all into that. It's all theater because it's about power. Because again, if you go to any other country, go to France, go to England, Brexit, and all this other stuff. When their shit ain't right, they can call a no confidence vote. But of course, I know it's a different form of government. Or they just say, fuck it, we get into the streets. Now, as Black people, if anything, we should have learned something by what happened last week. And I'm not going to, go into what we should have learned. But notice, I will guarantee you, a lot of those politicians, because of what happened last week, some of them are going to start to retire because they realize that their lives are on the line. And a lot of them are really going to start to bring home the bacon. Now, I'm here in California, my representative, and I think your representative isn't Mark Takano. I'm represented by a guy named Mark Takano. This guy puts up all of these platitudes about, oh my gosh, the insurrection and the white supremacists and all of this other stuff, right? This guy's an Asian man. Donald Trump needs to go right now. Oh, so let me get this straight. Black people being murdered in the street and in their homes. And then for hundreds of years, Black people complaining about white supremacy. That wasn't enough to convince you? They're playing games. They're just playing total games. And we got to accept that. No, we need to get together and start electing people like Tamara, who's going to go in there and do something. I don't have a problem with Maxine Waters having a $6 million mansion. But is it too much to ask that her district looks like $1 million? Is that too much to ask? That's what we got to start demanding.
Lord have mercy. How much time is left in the world? I'm not going to talk about Maxine Waters. I'm just going to skip that. I mean, it's funny how people that have been in politics for 30, 40 years have some of the poorest districts in the world. Like Maxine.
And it's mostly Black. The white politicians, look at, what's his name? That's been in Riverside for years. What's his name?
Talking about Roth?
Yeah, no, not Roth. The other guy. He's a congressman, Calvert.
Oh, jeez. I thought he was. He got a statue already. He's been here so long. One of my buddies says, lead from the front. You're a politician. Here's what I did to get rich. Here's what I do with my money. Here's my investments. Here's what happens. Here's what I do. So when the government drops the ball, here's how I keep surviving. Like, okay, Maxine, you're in a $6 million house. Show us how you did it. Would it be that complicated? That's what we do in my business, is we tell you what we did, what we're doing to build wealth. I think people, when you guys get, or when people get to the point where they're like, you know what, we're not going to follow somebody that's not doing it. You know, if anybody that knows me, if we get into a conversation and you start going on and on, I'm like, just give me the baby. I don't need the contraction story. I don't care about the umbilical cord. Give me the baby in the car seat. I'm out. All that other shit, you guys are wasting my time. I don't get time back. So, and I just think, you know, if money can fix it, then it's not a problem.
I left my desk because it's snowing. It's getting ready to snow in Houston.
Jeez.
Like, for real. It's 36 degrees right now and it's raining.
Well, like I said, it's 84 out here, and I'm just getting ready to go to the beach after the show is over.
Yeah, geez. Seriously, it is nice out here. So you guys, at the end of the day, I always say it, and Martin Luther King started off the right way by saying, hey, let's control our own money. And, you know, most races do it, and we are starting to get better at it, but we got to control our money. Yeah, it's going to cause some pain for us not to spend. Yeah, the economy is going to suffer, but what's the difference from right now? Like, there's a bar next to my house, and they got black sheets and windows. They keep it open, but under disguise of a close sign. But like, I spoke to the owner on Friday. She's like, what else are we supposed to do?
Let's talk about that a little bit, shall we? I was supposed to make a trip out to California in 10 days. I'm not making that trip now because they say, especially in Los Angeles area, Los Angeles County, every 8 minutes, somebody is dying from the coronavirus. And California is leading the pack. They said now that California is the epicenter of this coronavirus. You guys are out of space in the hospitals, in the emergency, ICUs and regular beds. There's no room at all. And so when I hear you say that bars are still open.
Well, you know, here's the funny thing. I'm going to cut you off because they're saying right now, Hispanic people here in California, based on this pandemic, is dying at a rate of 3 times that of white people, and more. They're the most affected people here in California that is dying, right? Well, damn, if you guys
the population.
Well, yeah. Well, no. I'm just saying that they're saying at the rate that they're going, right? Well, damn, if they stop having these goddamn house parties and mixing and going, they're not telling the whole story. They're self-inflicting on themselves, and they don't realize it.
Right, and there's a lot.
Oh yeah, the Latinos get together, be 400 people in the house in the street. That's true. Hey, let me shut up.
Yeah, but and it's true because I see it, and you guys probably all see it. And greetings, Pam. How are you? And you see it all up and down your timelines. People having parties and get-togethers, and I just look like, are you guys like idiots or are you stupid? I get it. And to me, and maybe it's just me. When I see people doing that, I'm like, you're no better than these people. Well, you're a little bit better. Storming the Capitol. I'm exercising my freedoms. And nobody's going to tell me to wear a mask and what to do and all this other stuff. And then the minute you get sick or somebody dies, and then it's like, oh, like you can't even, in a lot of places, you can't even go to the hospital. There's no room for you. It's like you should be afraid to even break a fingernail because you can't, it gets infected. They're not going to be able to see you. So like, why put yourself in that situation? But back to the point that I was making, you have this pandemic that's raging and a lot of people are out of money and the businesses are closing every day. There's, a mom and pop, but, for whatever reason, we know the reason, but these big box stores, they're not going anywhere. In fact, they're increasing their wealth every day. And so that's why I said I was more upset to see people storm the Capitol over some nonsense, opposed to, hey, Congress, get up off our money. That's not your money. That's the American people's money, and you guys are fighting. You got ice cream, walk-in freezers, and Mitch McConnell's got all this money, and everybody's got all this money, but yet the American people are biting their fingernails. A lot of people, what's going to happen to me or my family? I went on Chase's thing on Twitter because people were wondering, where's my stimulus? Where's my stimulus? And I'm seeing story after story after story of people saying, I have a family of 5. I was waiting on that money. It hasn't hit my bank account yet. I'm trying to buy some food. I'm trying to keep the lights on. So it was just like regular stuff. But yet, so I get it. I get why people are keeping their businesses open in spite of. But the other side of that is, if we would just maybe back up off of it a little, this thing will go away. Because right now it's not going away. They're also saying with this vaccine, I don't know if you two have taken it. I haven't. I'm not taking it. With this vaccine, they said that they need, I think, 3 million people vaccinated a week or a day. My numbers are wrong, but to this point, it's not even at this point. I think 5 million people have gotten the vaccine since they rolled it out. And so they're severely behind. They said at this rate, it'll take about 10 years for, and get to 70%, which is what they say it needs to be at in order to curtail this virus. And so, Congress needs to get the message that, as Nipsey and YG say, F Donald Trump, right? F Donald Trump. It ain't even about him. Right now, it's about people who are fighting for their financial livelihoods.
So, yeah, I just happen to be more do for self. The stimulus is cool. I'll take it. I love reparations because I know exactly what to do with it. And the point I'm trying to make, and I don't really think people are getting it. And I would love to speak to this representative or the senator or soon to be senator in more detail, because, at least she was open to having a conversation about it. But I don't think people are getting the message. Like, people in finance were saying, hey, people of color, if you get $1 and you can buy something and sell it for $2, and then you have 2 and then you turn it into 4, and before you know it, you have $16. People aren't getting that message. Like, I have very little sympathy for people. Like when we got our first stimulus checks, my neighborhood was full of TVs. Everybody had TVs. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, 1 minute you're in the food line and the next minute you're in the Walmart line buying a TV. I mean, that's your fucking fault. Period. I mean, like, if you come by every time, like if I'm married, right, and my wife comes and slap the shit out of me every time she walk in the house, sooner or later I ain't gonna be home when she get home. I'm gonna say this bitch is gonna hit me or whatever I call her, right? And I'm talking about a woman that will hit me. All women ain't bitches. Calm down on the comments. I'm just saying, like, at what point do we take responsibility for what happens to us? I've been laid off. I've been fired. I would rather sell bananas at the zoo to the monkeys before I have a job, have a W-2, have somebody put their name on my check and tell me when I get a vacation. That is the worst feeling in the world to me as an individual. And so there's just so many things we could be doing differently. Like right now, what are we doing? Joe Biden won. Now what? We got the whole, and when I say we, I'm just talking about Black people. When I say, because I'm not really, well, without getting into politics, what can we do right now? Like the 3 of us are on a group chat about ZO. Damn, I'm gonna tell you guys about this stock. I don't want to. ZOM. It was 6 cents. We got a group message from my sister. It was at 20 cents. I bought 5,000 shares. It went to 48. I sold it. Damn it, it's at 48 now. But hey, it's gonna come back down. If not, I'm gonna go in at 50, whatever. But the point I'm making is, those are the things we should be talking about. How to take $1,000 and invest it and get $2,300 back in 6 days. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what we should be talking about more of. And when we get to that point where it's sexy enough to have money, then we'll do better.
And Charlie, I want to read your comment. You say, look at James Clyburn, quote unquote, senator of the South Carolina. A lot of African Americans still living in slave huts with no health insurance, no job security, and white people treat them as less than a dog. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's, James Clyburn, he is pretty old dude. Okay. He's up there. So I'm sure he's been around in Jim Crow and all of that. But, he continues to sell that to his people in hopes of, in exchange for, continuing getting white people in power that won't ever do anything for him. And so James Clyburn is one of those people who he's got his big giant piece of the pie. And so, he's not really trying to get a piece of the pie for his people. He's just happy, that he has his, and he's the kingmaker. I guess that's some symbolism stuff. He's the kingmaker, getting somebody like Joe Biden into the White House, because it is, he's largely responsible for that happening. So
speaking of Mr. Clyburn, now I want you guys to look at this. Why is it that when Black people go there, they use our story of, oh, I come from sharecroppers, I come from a poor environment, I'm from the hood, a single mom, whatever. They use that story. And, of course, you're going to vote for people that look like you and have the same story as you. Fine. You get the guy there or the lady there, whatever, they get in the office. Then they enrich themselves. How many of you guys know that James Clyburn's daughter she has a consulting business, even though she has no background in consulting? Then you look at Maxine Waters. Where did all her money go in the last election? She funneled money to her family. They said over $1 million for her daughter to give out flyers, to distribute flyers. And, her daughter charged Maxine's campaign, whatever, almost $1 million. They get in there and they learn to enrich themselves and enrich their families. And it's just amazing. And not only the politicians are doing it, the pulpit pastors are doing it. And that new guy in Georgia, what's his name?
Reverend Raphael Warnock.
Yeah, Warnock. How the hell are you going to serve the church and be a politician at the same damn time? Somebody's going to suffer. But that's what he said he's going to do. But again, it just doesn't make sense. We don't even bother to look at these people's records. We sit there and complain. Like a good example, Trump's a dirtbag, no doubt about it. However, how the hell are you going to complain when he speaks some truth? You can't go out and just say everything this man says is wrong. That's an absolute. Where in what he said, Baltimore looks like a shithole, was he lying? Now, it could be subjective. I can understand that. But have you been to Baltimore? And who has been under control?
Be careful, brother. Like, I don't want to have
I guess that
in front of your house.
What you saying is true. Look at Detroit. Detroit has been run by Democrats for decades. What happened? But we don't do our homework, because you know what? The same people that you defend to give you your food stamps and feed you is the same person that can starve you.
Yeah.
Jeez. Man, I got an amen in the background. I mean, listen, we have to take accountability. And for whatever reason, we don't want to do it. We always find something wrong with the picture. At the end of the day, I hate to keep beating this horse. Mr. Ed is dead. Why don't we just try it? When you get $1, take 20 cents and save it. That's it. So many people believe biblical, they believe in religion, but yet they don't even take the advice. They tell you to store money, put it in the storehouse for a rainy day, or a day. I don't know. I haven't read the Bible in a long time. But we don't do that. And I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. If for the last 10 years of your adult working life, if you saved 20% of your money and put it to the side, invested it, and this pandemic showed up, you would be on the other side of the coin. The pandemic financially has been one of the best things that's happened to me financially. Not to me, I don't want to see people suffer, but I'm saying, but because of all the opportunities that came up, there's money to be made. And at the end of the day, people, you can, like Bugs Bunny said, if you can't beat them, join them. I mean, Amazon, I got 2 packages. As I'm sitting here doing the podcast, I got packages show up. How is Jeff Bezos, the people that AOC and everybody hates, how is he gaining billions of dollars a day in wealth? I mean, come on, you guys, it's okay to go to You guys are okay shopping at Home Depot, but we can't go grab a drink or outside in the hot sun? I mean, like, sometimes you just have to be ready. And so I believe it's just okay to have money set to the side. That's it. You guys will put money in the bank, they'll give you 1%, excuse me, 0.00001%, and your mom or your cousin will borrow that 20. And you bitching about the white man. He ain't got nothing to do with it at this point. I mean, maybe he does, but like, at what point do we at least pick up some boxing gloves and start fighting? You know, if I get pulled over and the cops does me bad, I got money to bank to hire a lawyer, and I'm suing the city for millions. But you got to put yourself in a position to at least fight, don't you think?
No, absolutely. I absolutely believe that. Yeah, but we have a lot of work to do, especially, well, we've always had a lot of work to do, right? But my biggest fear, well, that's not my biggest fear, one of them, is that now that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in office, the Democrats run everything at this point. Come January 20th, they'll be in control of everything, the Senate, the House, you know.
So we're getting reparations. We're getting everything we want. Yes.
The executive branch, if you will. And I really just feel like Black people at this point will be lullabied right back to, not back to sleep, but into a deeper sleep, because we now feel, hey, we got, you know, a Democratic president, and we got a Black woman who's the I'm not here to argue. I'm just telling you what they'll say. We got a Black woman as a vice president, and you know, when things are good now because the Democrats are the party of the people, and you know, Black people. And Tamara said it. She says, you know, and when she was talking about Reverend Warnock, he has Reverend in front of his name and a D at the end of his name for Democrat. And so, to me, now this is just me, I feel like those are kryptonite to Black people. Because we have been a slave to both, to Christianity and to the Democrats, and we don't have anything to show for it at all. And so I just feel like this next 4 years, Black people, on a whole, not all of us, are going to be in a deeper slumber, because we're going to think, okay, well, we've done our job, everything is back to normal. Like, why would you want it to go back there anyway? But we'll feel like it's back to normal. So hey, we'll go back and continue doing what we were doing before, which is not a lot, because we are now a permanent underclass, as Dr. Claude Anderson has warned us about years ago. Permanent underclass means that we are at the bottom of the totem pole. Every other race has come and has surpassed us in every way, shape, and form. In the 1960s, Asians were also about 2 to 3% of the population. They are now 8% of the population, and we're about 13, 14%. I know some people say, well, you know, it's not really that, but from what they say, the U.S. Census Bureau has said we are about that and been about that since the 1960s. Now, if you want to add in everybody else who considers himself Black, okay, they say we're really about 17%. All right, but that's still not a lot. So back to my point about the Asians are now 8% of the population. They are growing in population, and they are also the wealthiest group of people in the United States. And so I know, you know, they open doors and give them more opportunities. They don't suffer systemic and institutional racism like we as Black people do. But the one thing that they have working for them is, let me mute this mic. Oops, sorry, is unity. They have unity working for them. We do not have unity. We continue to vote for oppression, to big up, if you will, people who maybe look like us but do nothing for us. As I said earlier, we have some of these Congress people, and well, it's not really a lot of Black senators, but Congress people that are been in there for 20, 30, 40 years, and their districts look like crap. They, you know, as Donovan would say, look like Beirut, you know, and there's been absolutely no change, and yet we continue to vote for those people a lot of times simply because they are a Democrat, or they come in the neighborhoods and they talk Black and they walk Black, and you know, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna, you know, get the reparations, and they don't do any of the above. And then they come back when it's time for election season, and they say the same old thing, and we fall for it. My dad often gives this story, and Walter has heard the story a lot because we have the same dad. He used to tell this story about the scorpion and the frog. Walter, you remember that story? Where the scorpion and the frog goes like this, okay? So the frog, the scorpion needs a ride across the river, okay? The scorpion can't swim. And so the frog says, nah, mister, this is how my dad would tell it. No, Mr. Scorpion, you're going to sting me if I give you a ride. And the scorpion's like, I'm not going to sting you. Why would I do that? If I sting you, we both die. So eventually he convinces the frog to let him get on his back. The scorpion gets on the frog's back, and this frog is, all right, it's going along pretty cool. And then, yaka! He gets stabbed in the back with the scorpion's little stinger. And the frog goes, well, you said you weren't going to do that to me. You lied. And the scorpion says, you fool, I'm a scorpion. That's what I do. And so black people are the frog. We continue to let the scorpion get on our back. And we're like, okay, this time I know you won't do it. We're going to ride this thing all the way to the other side of the pond. And then we never make it. So it's like at some point in time, we got to say, nah, Mr. Scorpion, you done got a lot of my people like that, and I guarantee you one thing: you ain't getting on my back. So we got to start doing things a little differently. And so, Walter, closing remarks, and then Donovan.
My closing remarks or my opening remarks. Maybe I can be more aggressive in 2021 and just being more, what some people would say is maybe a little bit mean. Like, and you know, because me and you talk about this, and I like the whole Joe Lullabiden. That's cool. Hashtag Lullabiden. There's things you could do to have control of your life. You know, you only need to sleep 4 to 6 hours a day. You know, if you listen to people of wealth, people who are successful, they don't sleep 8 to 10 hours a day. You know, like you should get sleep, blah, blah, blah. But like, the point I'm making is you have time in your day. You could do things. You work an 8-hour job. Can you take 2 to 3 hours aside from that and work on your future and your fortune? You know, I don't care what happened to your coworker at work. I really don't. What can you do to make your life better right now? And I think we need to focus on that. And I always go back to what I say is when you get $1, put 20 cents away. Do something with it. If you do that for 2 years, you get $1 and you put 20 cents away, and you invest in it and you don't spend it, most of your problems will go away. Period. So anyways, it's closed.
Donovan?
Cool. Well, you know, these next 4 years are going to be very interesting. And I agree, we're going to be lulled back to sleep. And again, I just really, really wish, and I'm talking to my Black sisters, we need each other. Stop falling into this bullshit and letting white supremacy use you against your Black man. You're the center of the earth. And yes, Black men, we need to do better in protecting our Black women and doing what we need to do to stand up as men. But, you know, and we're going to address that. But I got to appeal to the women out there, especially on the national level, that is wholesale leading our people astray and keeping our eye off the ball. I have yet to hear a Sammy Simone Sanders or Jean Pierre, whatever her name is, or Kamala Harris talk about reparations and what is needed in the Black community. They're not doing it. So, you know, that's, you know, my thing. Like I said, you sisters are amazing. We love you. We need you. But please stop with the bullshit.
Woo! All right now. So anyway, I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Facebook and YouTube, the other side of the conversation. And Mickey, I'll read your comment as we go. It says, white supremacy only employ plantation mammies and plantation pappies for those positions which could help the Black community. Because we all know when Black people wake up and unify and actually start practicing group economics and everything like that, everybody else is in trouble. And we know that white supremacy, they do not want that to happen. And Dimitri says, I think since we arrived, or however that story goes, we've been trying with much interference, but nevertheless trying. Yes, we have continued to try, but this time we actually need to give it, a college try, whatever that is. whatever that is. And so again, I thank you all, Facebook and YouTube, for being the other side of the conversation. We cannot do this without you. Also like to say big giant thank you to Tamara Johnson-Shealey. She's not here right now. She was here for the first hour, so you guys can watch it back. Very powerful sister who ran for the 40th district there in Georgia. She was running in a race with Raphael Warnock. It was 21 of them, and he obviously ended up being the successor.
Yes, and by the way, she went to school with him.
Right. So thank you to her, and thank you to Walter for coming on, our financial resident expert, if you will. He knows many things about finances and how to help us as Black people advance and get to where we need to go. If you guys are interested, contact him at www.cornucopia.com. What was you going to say, Walter?
No, that's right. I agree. You can DM me too. I take those. I take the money DMs, right?
Yes. And also, if you guys feel the need to do so, $ Demetra K on Cash App. Every little bit helps to continue Black media, to getting the messages out and great interviews. Every little bit helps. And I would just also, just once again say thank you to those who have donated to helping this platform go forward, because we know, as Dr. Claude Anderson says, we own less than 3% of the media, and it's important that Black people, especially with Black platforms, and that are speaking the truth. I'm not talking about that nonsense that we often see. I'm talking about the stuff, the good information that we need so that we can go and be better and teach other people better. I thank you guys for making that possible, because the new Black media is really helping our people open our eyes and get knowledge and just be better. And that's always been our goal here at the Demetra K Show. And so also thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything that you do behind the scenes. You can also catch Donovan and I on the War Zone Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central Time, and again on Free Flow Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. I'm all over the place. So we will see you guys later. You guys have a great day. Stay warm or cold or cool wherever you at in the world.